श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। गणानां त्वा गणपतिगं हवामहे कविं कवीनां मुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोदिभिस्सेदसादनं प्रणो देवी सरस्वतीवाजेभिर्वाजिनीवते दीनामवित्रयवत् गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ओम जयन्ती मंगलकाली भद्रकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवधात्री स्वाहा स्वधा नमोस्तुते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Sairam Lin, Sairam from Malaysia.
Sairam Sharma, Sairam from New Zealand. And our topic today is Swami's cheeky smile. And Swami, thank you for letting Sharma and I share this most delightful reminiscences. It's quite a few reminiscences, not just one, of Swami's most enchanting, unforgettable smile. And I'm not just talking about a smile where you can't see his teeth. I'm talking about a smile like you will see in the thumbnail for this talk. Welcome to our listeners, wherever you are. We welcome you as always and hope this little talk brings a smile to your face as well, because there's nothing that Swami likes better than you smiling at him. And this is one thing that Mata Betty taught us as a group. She said, Lynn, when he comes past you, smile at him. He wants to see smiles and he will smile back. He is so tired of all these castor oil faces. And those were Swami's words, castor oil faces, because when he came out for darshan, so many people, they'd suddenly straighten up and put their hands in the namaskar position and they'd look very, very serious. And that's not what he wanted to see. He said, I'm tired of all these castor oil faces, because he always had the most enchanting smile, ready for you if you were smiling at him. And the first time I experienced his smile was 1 or 2 days after I had arrived in the ashram. I had the front row, and this is when we sat outside on the concrete. It was a morning darshan, and he came and stopped in front of me and put his hands behind his back and smiled, and he was swaying back and forth. This was so charming and so hypnotic in a way that I looked up at him and all I could see were these two eyes just melting into me. I felt my whole being was melting with this kind of warmth, and he had this, it was so bewitching, that's the only word I can think of, bewitching smile on his face. And I noticed that a man followed him, an older gentleman in white. I don't remember the name, but this gentleman always had a handkerchief for Swami, and Swami would frequently take that handkerchief to blot his lips, which were always glistening. And I thought to myself at the time, my goodness, Swami, this is unusual. His lips are glistening in the light, but the rest of his face, there is no sweat or perspiration, only the lips. I later found out, and it was during a private interview, that Swami's lips were always exuding Amrita, divine nectar, and that is why he always was dabbing at his lips with a handkerchief, and that's why everyone wanted to give him a handkerchief. And you will see in old photos or videos of the darshan line, people are all holding out handkerchiefs, hoping he will take them and bless them. And I had this experience in the private interview room when I took in a handkerchief as well. Now, another thing about Swami's smile is when it was a full smile and you could see his teeth, he had what we call the lucky gap between his teeth. Now, the little gap between the front teeth has astrologically always been a symbol of great wealth and good luck and positive energy. And in fact, the French people have a saying for it. They call it the gap between the teeth, dent du bonheur, which translate to lucky teeth. And in Nigeria, a gap between the teeth means beauty, great fortune, and wealth. And it's the same in West Africa. And it is said that a person with the gap in the teeth attracts only positive energy. They are independent. They do not conform to society norms. They have their own way of doing things, and they are not afraid to stand out. And that is Swami to a T. He was all of those things in that physical form and more. But when he gave a full smile, and he had beautiful teeth, you couldn't notice this charming gap between the teeth, and also his lovely, sweet chuckle, which was so soft you could barely hear it. But I heard it in one interview. He was talking to me, and he was saying, "How are you, madam? You're a good girl, but your mind is sometimes like a monkey and sometimes in the marketplace." And he was sitting in his little chair. Well, it's a big chair, but he had kind of leaned back, and he was holding onto the little armrests, and he was sort of beaming. And he had this little chuckle going on when he said, "Your mind is sometimes in the marketplace." Look, he knew I was a shopping fanatic. He knew I loved to shop until I dropped. And he knew I'd been out there in the village shopping, which was not what he really wanted, but he was just letting me know. He knew everything. And really, I was just buying things to take home to people at home, like pictures of him and japamalas and little statues and stickers and all this kind of stuff. I wasn't buying things for myself. I was really copying Mata Betty, because she went and bought these sort of things too. She loved to come home and spread him around a bit. And she always picked lovely photos of him smiling. And Ma always was beaming at Swami when he came by. She would wave at him with her little handkerchief, this great big smile on her face. And he would smile back at her with that enchanting smile. And he would wave to her. And I mean, in those days, she was waving this white handkerchief because she was sitting quite far at the back. And she couldn't be up front where she used to be able to sit, because her hips and her knees wouldn't allow her to get down on the floor anymore. That's why Swami had given her a chair, you see. But Swami was well known for this cheeky smile that he had, and that's what I saw, was his cheeky smile. And I always, after learning about his incarnation as Lord Krishna, and it was said Lord Krishna had an enchanting smile, and he liked to prank people, because Swami was very, very good at playing tricks on people, as some of you may know. And of course, one of the most famous tricks that Swami played was the one that he played on Professor Kasturi. That was the first trick that I heard about. And that's what endeared Swami to me, because he told Professor Kasturi that a very special newspaper wanted to feature a story about Kasturi and needed a photograph of Kasturi. And Swami said, "This is such an important event, Kasturi, that I myself will take the photograph." So Kasturi got himself all tidied up. He got his hair cut. He wore his special suit. He shaved, made himself look very, very nice, came into the mandir, and sat. Swami had a chair all set up for him, and a big camera on a tripod, one of those accordion style cameras, the old style camera, and the squeeze bubble, a squeezer, what is that called? It's like a bulb that you squeeze to take the picture. And so once Kasturi had him, Swami was posing him now this way, now that way, no, now look up, now like that. Finally, Swami said, "Very good, I'm ready to take the picture." And he squeezed the bulb, and out of the camera popped a plastic black spider. And it was a trick camera. And and Swami was laughing and laughing. He had pranked Kasturi, and Kasturi was just mortified that he'd fallen for Swami's prank. And Swami was reducing Kasturi's ego. That's why he had him get himself all fancied up for this non-existent photograph. Swami just made the whole story up. He just wanted to have some fun with Professor Kasturi. So how amazing and wonderful to be the object of Swami's pranks. This is the kind of stuff he loved to pull. He loved tricks. He loved making funny faces. And this is something I experienced in the darshan line when I got not just his smile, but a funny face. What happened was, now in these days, like I said, you could take all kinds of things into the darshan area. And this was on my second trip, and I had already just fallen completely in love with Swami, and I wanted to make him smile. And so I had some puppets. These are hand puppets that I use in my visits to children's kindergartens and schools, primary schools, where I put on puppet shows and tell stories with my puppets. And these are hand puppets, so I have my hand inside them. I can make them wave. I can make them turn their heads. And for some reason, I thought, well, I will take some of my puppets into the darshan area, and when Swami comes past me, if I have a front row, I will get my puppets to wave at him. And I took in the skunk puppet. You know, the skunk is a black and white mammal from America, and they are very well known because they have the most terrible smell. And then I took in the lion, and I took in a snake puppet, all of which I can operate their mouths, and I can operate with the lion and the skunk. I can operate their hands, their paws, rather. So I got the front row, and I was right on the corner. And sitting on the concrete, I think I was in the arches, and Swami came past, and he stopped. I was making my puppets wave at him. I can't believe I did this, but I was doing it, and Swami made this face, like he made his eyes go huge, and he put this expression on his face like he was extremely surprised. And then his face, honestly, it broke out into this beautiful smile, and he put his hand up in blessing, and I thought, oh, wow, he's blessed my puppets. But what I didn't realize is he was actually, I think he did bless the puppets, but he was returning my big smile. And it wasn't until much later in 1995 when I first started traveling with Mata Betty. She said, now, Lynn, as soon as Swami comes near you, you give him the biggest smile you can muster and make it real. Don't just be faking it. Just show him how happy you are to see him. And she told all of us girls to do this. And sure enough, we all broke into big beaming smiles, and Swami beamed back at us, and he said, New Zealand, New Zealand, I see you. And when I got called for my first interview, he was coming towards me. He was sort of waggling his head from side to side, in that classic Indian gesture. I think that means yes, yes. And I didn't quite know what that meant at that time, but I later heard that this is called the head wobble. And Indian people will know what I'm talking about. And he was beaming, and he came towards me, and he said, New Zealand, New Zealand, I see you, how many? And I said, 21. Swami said, go. So that was I really think the smile certainly helped, smiling at Swami. And of course, he said himself that within your face are special muscles, and when you smile, your body releases certain, what did he call? I think they're called pheromones. They are like, you can't see it, but it's like a positive energy that your smile, a true smile, a happy smile, a loving smile, not a sarcastic smile. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a genuine smile of love and affection. He said that in itself is a service. You are doing someone a service when you smile at them. You are actually releasing positive energy from the certain critical points on the face. There, as in, in acupuncture, there are certain points of energy in the facial muscles and in the muscles themselves. And just the contraction of a true smile actually releases these unseen positive energies. And that's why his smile was such a blessing and why your smile is such a blessing. And I mean, there's even wonderful songs about it, smile even though you're crying, smile. That's a lovely song too. I think we sang that for Swami one year, I'm not sure. But anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this little talk about Swami's cheeky smile, because it could be cheeky, but it was also just this pouring out of his golden love energy, his divine positive energy that entered every pore of your body. You inhaled it, you could taste it almost. It was so, so beautiful. I suggest you have make a print of this beautiful photo of Swami. It was taken by Mr. Rick Eade in the UK, who is very kindly sending me photos and video clips of all the beautiful footage that he took of Swami during the early 90s. And this is a particularly lovely picture of Swami smiling. I suggest humbly that you might like to get a print made of this picture and have it near you all the time. And whenever you get a chance, just give Swami your most beautiful, loving smile. You never know, that photo might come alive and smile cheekily back at you. Om Shri Sai Ram.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Om Tasmat Karunya Bhavena Rakcha Rakcha Saishwara. Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Saishwara Arpanamastu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.